This video is about Mexico's recent deployment of troops to its border with the United States. This action is part of President Claudia Sheinbaum's commitment to send 10,000 additional members of the National Guard. The primary goal is to combat cross-border drug trafficking, especially fentanyl. The deployment began on February 4, 2025. President Sheinbaum announced the relocation of National Guard and military personnel from other regions. This strategic move aims to boost security at the northern border. The National Guard has already dispatched 6,310 members to the border. This is to manage the flow of asylum seekers and drugs. The military has also contributed by sending an additional 2,700 troops. The Mexican army stated that these forces would strengthen existing troops. Their mission includes stopping the influx of fentanyl, other drugs and illegal immigration into the United States. They also aim to prevent firearms from crossing the border into Mexico. The troops are being stationed in northern states such as Baja California, Sonora, Chihuahua and Tamaulipas. This deployment is part of a broader agreement with President Donald Trump. In exchange for Mexico's commitment to increase border security, the United States agreed to pause a 25% tariff on Mexican goods. This tariff pause is for Mexico's economy, which heavily relies on trade with the United States. The National Guard was established in 2019 to address crime. It was recently placed under military control. This change has raised concerns regarding human rights, as the military has faced numerous allegations of abuses. Unlike the United States, Mexico does not have a dedicated border patrol. Instead, it relies on the military and National Guard for border enforcement. In recent years, the National Guard has played an important role in curbing illegal migration. In 2019, the then President Andrés Manuel López Obrador sent troops to the southern border with Guatemala under pressure from the United States. The current deployment reflects a shift in focus towards drug trafficking prevention. The effectiveness of this deployment depends on its location. If troops are stationed in cities with high drug trafficking activity, they could impact the flow of drugs. However, there is need for better intelligence sharing between US and Mexican officials. This collaboration is essential to effectively combat drug trafficking. President Sheinbaum has brought into light the commitment of both countries to address not only drug trafficking but also the flow of illegal firearms. These firearms often end up in the hands of organized crime groups in Mexico. The National Guard's presence at the border is intended to enhance overall security. The National Guard has approximately 130,000 members. This deployment will put additional pressure on a force that is still relatively new. Sheinbaum did not disclose the financial implications of this troop movement. The government has already redeployed troops to 18 cities and towns along the border. Experts warn that while this deployment may yield short to medium-term results, criminal organizations are adaptable. Cecilia Farfan Mendez, a drug policy researcher, pointed out that simply deploying troops at the border does not address the entire fentanyl production chain. Production occurs in various parts of Mexico, not solely at the border. The situation is complex. The deployment of troops is a response to immediate pressures regarding tariffs and drug trafficking. However, it also raises questions about long-term strategies for addressing the root causes of drug production and trafficking in Mexico. The effectiveness of this deployment will depend on various factors, including location, intelligence sharing, and cooperation between the two nations. Thus, Mexico's troop deployment to the US border marks a step in addressing drug trafficking and border security. The collaboration between Mexico and the United States will be crucial in tackling these challenges. As the situation develops, it will be important to monitor the impact of these measures on both drug trafficking and the bilateral relationship between the two countries.